So in this video, we're gonna cover how to replace the netting on your leverage landing net. Once you've received your net replacement kit, that kit is gonna come with fresh new netting and then replacement hardware. The key to the replacement hardware is if your net originally had rivets, it's gonna be super easy to replace. You don't need a pop rivet gun, but you will need a screwdriver with a replacement tip, a 1/4 inch nut driver, your power tool, a 1/8 inch drill bit, a knife, or a pair of scissors. To start with, you're gonna have to take your net and you have to collapse it in half. So that's gonna give you access to the 4 rivets on the inside of the hinge that attach the hoop itself, and we're gonna have to drill those out with a 1/8 inch drill bit. Now that I've removed the 4 rivets, I'm simply gonna remove the hoop from the hinge. And from there, next up, I have to remove the original torn netting. So with that, an easy way to do that is get a pair of scissors, or in this case, I do have a pocket knife with me. So essentially, go through and you're gonna cut each one of those connecting tabs real easy. So that gives you a great starting point to put that fresh net on. And then before I go ahead and put the new netting on, what I wanna do is I wanna make sure in any bit of aluminum or any bit of that rivet, I wanna make sure and tap it out of the hoop so I don't create a giant rain stick when I'm on the water of having some particulates and pieces floating around the inside of this hoop. So you wanna shake that out and make sure there's nothing in it before we add the new netting. So essentially with that, go ahead and start on one side and go ahead and thread the hoop onto that new net. And this is gonna be our 2021 hoop, so it is the wider of the two. This one is just a tad bit more difficult to thread. The 1220 is gonna be a little bit easier. You guys just wanna, as you thread it on, go ahead and work it around. It's rubber, so it's gonna stick to the aluminum in that anodizing, but essentially gradually thread it on as I can. So once you have your new netting attached, the next step is going to be just realigning it in that hoop. And essentially, because this net just falls through each direction, it doesn't matter which way the basket truly is when you go to put the net back together. But you do want to make sure that those holes that are pre-drilled match up and face upward as you put it back in the hinge. Because essentially we're going to reuse those same holes to attach the new hardware to reassemble your new leverage landing net. So with that hardware, you'll notice that it's gonna have a hex-shaped head and an easy way that most people are gonna have a screwdriver with a replacement tip. Essentially, that's gonna be a 1/4 inch nut driver, is gonna fit in perfectly with the head of that screw, and then that's what I'm gonna use to reattach the hoop to the leverage landing net. So I'm gonna take that and just start in one of the holes. It's gonna be pretty easy to thread into that aluminum, but you just wanna apply some nice downward pressure. And so I'm gonna tighten it till snug. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the opposite side. I like to do opposites. Find that hole and then tighten until snug. So once I've got it snug, I'm gonna go around once more and just give it one last little tighten. And essentially, that's gonna be it. So from there, I've got new netting on my leverage landing net, so it's ready to rock, good to go on the water.